Did you know that the human body has a natural built-in fat burning mechanism? Yep. You have it in you. The problem is there's so much bad information out there, it's hard to figure out what's right and what isn't. There's definitely more bad information than good. That's why it gets so confusing. So in this video, we're gonna cut through all the BS and I'm gonna show you 4 proven steps on how to turn your body into a fat burning machine. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students and they've all got to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Let's start with a banger because in my opinion, this is the best method of fat loss, bar none. Step number 1, take a break from eating. If you've been following my channel, this shouldn't be breaking news. And it's also good to get a little reminder why you should do it. But if you're new, you're in for a treat. If you want to lose fat, just take a break from eating. The simplest way I can explain this is at any given time, you have at least 100,000 calories worth of stored energy waiting to be used. All your unwanted body fat is actually stored energy. That's what it's there for. It's not just there for looks. So when you take a long enough break from eating, your body, being the supercomputer that it is, starts to realize that there's no food coming in and it doesn't want to die. What it does next in turn is just pure sorcery. It starts to look for energy from within. So it starts searching. So you've got your organs, which probably isn't a good idea to use for energy because you're gonna die if your body starts breaking down your heart, liver, and kidneys for energy. So that's not happening. But you've also got your muscles, but you need your muscles in order to hunt. That's from 2.5 million years of evolution. If your body immediately started breaking down fat the moment you stop eating and food is scarce, you wouldn't be able to hunt and that would have been the end of our species. But then you've got this abundant amount of body fat all over your body. A lot of it sitting in undesired places like your butt, thighs, and belly. It literally serves no purpose aesthetically rather than make you feel self-conscious. But in terms of physiology, it's stored energy. So when you take a long enough break from eating, your body, being the super smart supercomputer that it is, will simply start burning fat for energy so you don't die. This is more commonly known as intermittent fasting. When I say taking a long enough break, the bare minimum here is a 14-hour fast, and that is if you're new. So you've got a 14-hour fasting window and a 10-hour eating window. But the minimum effective dose, if you actually want to see tangible results, is a 16-hour fast, which gives you a 16-hour fasting window with an 8-hour eating window. You can also do an 18-hour fast, which seems to be the sweet spot for a lot of people. You can also do a 20-hour fast, which is more commonly known as the warrior diet, all the way down to a 24-hour fast, which is more commonly known as OMAD, or 1 meal a day. Your fasting window also includes your sleep. So if you get your 8 hours of sleep, you just keep adding your fasting hours after you wake up. And the best intermittent fasting schedule is the one that fits your schedule. I personally did a 16-hour fast for the longest time, and that's how I was able to initially transform my body. I've also been able to maintain my results. Again, this is why it's the minimum effective dose. It's also gonna work extremely well if you're new because it's gonna come as a complete shock to your body in a good way. It's called hormetic stress because you're going from eating all day, and that's been ingrained in our heads for decades now as the norm. We're also in the midst of an obesity epidemic, go figure, to a time-restricted eating window. Again, you're simply giving your body a chance to tap into stored energy in the form of body fat when you do this. The longer you go, the better. You're not gonna die when you fast. In terms of physiology, one of the biggest benefits of intermittent fasting is improved insulin sensitivity. All you really need to know is that every time you eat, your insulin goes up. That's your storing hormone. A lot of experts refer to it as the master hormone because it's the hormone that controls your body weight. When your insulin levels are high, you can't access your body fat and burn it for energy. You just can't. High insulin blocks lipolysis. Lipolysis literally means fat burning. So when your insulin levels are high, you're in fat storage mode. That's not necessarily a bad thing because your body needs to store all the nutrients from the foods that you eat. But we've gone so far the other way on this. We're basically eating all day. We're eating all the time. And oftentimes we eat even if we're not hungry. From the moment we wake up and then we snack in between meals up until we go to bed. Some people even snack right before they go to sleep. You're basically in fat storage mode all day. The good thing is the reverse is also true. Every time you don't eat, your insulin goes back down to baseline. This is when the body gets the signal to tap into your fat stores for energy. This is why you don't die in your sleep, by the way. Your body is using stored energy to keep you alive. Mind-blowing stuff, right? Another very important concept that you need to understand is it's not necessarily about eating less, although you still need to be at a calorie deficit in order to lose fat. You just need to eat less frequently. Again, it's not about eating less, but less frequently, because you can bet that there is a world of difference with how your body reacts physiologically when you eat 1800 calories, for example, spread throughout the day. You're eating these tiny meals that are not satiating at all versus eating 1800 calories split into 2 meals within a time restricted eating window of 8 hours, let's say. It's night and day. And I talk about this extensively on my channel, that eating less, where you're just perpetually dieting and cutting calories, could have some pretty big negative side effects to your body. The biggest one being a reduced metabolism and increased hunger, because the human body is an adaptation machine. You're literally putting your body in starvation mode when you just keep cutting calories and you're eating these tiny meals that are not satiating at all. Your body then will respond to this by sending really strong hunger signals for you to eat something because it doesn't want to die. And you can only fight your hunger cues for so long. You can't fight your physiology. Your physiology will always win. Again, make sure you check out my other videos about intermittent fasting if you're new. I'm also going to put some links in the description box. Now, I mentioned the next step a couple times already, but it deserves its own segment. Step number 2 is stop grazing on food. This habit of constantly grazing on food all day might be one of the most damaging habits to our health that we've adapted as a society as the norm. But if you want to lose fat, you need to stop snacking. Again, let's circle back to the fact that every time you eat, your insulin goes up. It puts you in fat storage mode, which inadvertently shuts off lipolysis, because you can't be burning fat and storing fat at the same time. It's one or the other. Anybody who tells you otherwise probably hasn't read a book in a while or graduated from the school of bro science. But again, this is why intermittent fasting is such a powerful tool, because it automatically limits the amount of snacks you're having throughout the day, because you can only eat your food in a time restricted window. But even during your eating window, you still need to eliminate this food grazing habit. You're not a cow. You shouldn't be grazing on food all day. There are other better things to do in life rather than stuffing your face every time you're bored. Like if you're doing a 16-hour fast, for example, an 8-hour eating window is still a long time to do damage by grazing on food if you're not disciplined. Ideally, you're only eating 1 or 2 meals a day. That's it. Our Paleolithic ancestors would have considered us gluttons if they found out we're eating 6 meals a day. There's actually no science behind it. Plus, we don't really snack on the healthiest stuff. We're usually snacking on highly processed foods like chips, cookies, crackers, candy, and even healthier options like fruit, granola bars, and protein bars. And I used air quotes there because there's absolutely nothing healthy about those bars. You're basically eating a glorified Snickers bar. Even fruit is suspect because of its fructose content. We also drink designer coffees and crappy frappies, which are just absolute sugar bombs. The foods and drinks I just mentioned are some of the worst offenders when it comes to spiking your insulin levels, because out of all 3 macronutrients, carbs, especially refined carbs and sugar, spike insulin the most. The more processing your food goes through, the worse it is for you. So you've got this huge spike in your blood sugar levels when you eat those foods, because most of them are made out of refined carbs and sugar, with a corresponding insulin response to store all that sugar floating around your bloodstream, because too much blood sugar is toxic, which also comes with the subsequent sugar and insulin crash. And that blood sugar crash triggers cravings for you to eat something sweet to bring up your blood sugar levels back to normal, because your body doesn't want to go in a state of hypoglycemia. So it creates this vicious cycle where you're always craving these foods. So when you stop eating these insulinogenic foods in between meals, you're allowing your insulin levels to stay moderated, giving your body more time to tap into your fat burning mechanism. It's basically addition by subtraction. Now, you can't fast forever, although the longest recorded fast was 382 days. The guy lost 284 pounds in the process, living off of water and multivitamins and regular visits to the doctor. But let's say you're more interested in the 16 to 24 hours type of intermittent fasting. What the heck are you supposed to eat? That's actually step number 3. I want you to eat real food. Revolve your diet around plants and animals. I want you to eat single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient dense foods. Real food. Yes, I said plants and animals. You should actually be eating mostly animals. That's why the carnivore diet movement has gained a lot of steam. So if you're vegan, I respect what you're doing, but you came to the wrong channel. You need to eat meat in order to be a healthy and happy human being. Let me just give you a few things that your body needs that plants don't contain. Carnitine, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, vitamin B12, EPA, DHA, and cholesterol. You can only get those things from animals. Whole foods, especially meat, are also extremely satiating. They naturally don't cause a big spike in insulin. This is why I always say that not all calories are created equal. That's why the calories in versus calories out model without factoring hormones is extremely flawed, because the zealots will just say, oh, it's all about the calories. You can lose weight eating McDonald's and Twinkies as long as you're in a calorie deficit. At the beginning, yeah, maybe. But are you going to be able to sustain that weight loss and be healthy? Absolutely not. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that 100 calories of eggs will have the same fattening effects as 100 calories of breakfast cereal, because again, the most insulinogenic types of foods are carbs, especially refined carbs and sugar. Protein also triggers an insulin response, but it also activates your satiety hormones, specifically peptide YY or PYY. So you're kind of protected there. If you've ever been to an all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouse, for example, it's hard to overeat on meat. You get the meat sweats. While fat has little to no effect on your insulin levels, so fat isn't bad for you. Fat doesn't make you fat, contrary to popular belief. If anything, if you're not eating enough fat, you're probably fat. Again, this is why you want to revolve your diet around plants and animals, because they contain all the essential fats and amino acids that your body needs in order to be healthy and happy. They're also extremely satiating, and they keep your insulin levels moderated. You're gonna stay fuller longer in between meals when you eat these foods, which then eliminates the need for snacking. They all kind of work together in synergy. Okay, the last piece of the puzzle is you need to make supportive lifestyle choices that upregulate your fat burning mechanism. 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. That's what the first 3 steps are all about, because what you eat and when you eat are equally important when it comes to activating your fat burning mechanism. But you also need to make supportive lifestyle choices in order to get sustainable results. And I put all these steps together and break it down extensively inside the Fat Loss Accelerator. So make sure you check out the link at the top right hand corner here if you just want a proven step-by-step plan on how to do this. But I'm just gonna give you the rapid fire version of it. Number 1 is all about movement, and it's split up into 2 parts. A, make sure you're doing some form of resistance training in order to build muscle, because muscle is the key driver of your metabolism. It's also a key indicator of lifespan. It's extremely important during the aging process. All you really need to know is if you want to be a healthy and happy human being, one of the best things you can do for yourself is to be as physically strong as humanly possible. There are no downsides to that, only benefits. And you can only achieve that through resistance training. Doing excessive cardio like running won't accomplish that. And B, aim to get at least 10,000 steps spread throughout the day. That gets you out of prolonged periods where you're completely sedentary, because living a sedentary lifestyle is one of the fastest ways to turn off your fat burning mechanism. Next, you want to make sure you're managing stress, and stress is just a part of life. Exercise, for example, is a type of stress, but it's a type of hormetic stress, the good kind of stress. It's the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger type of stress. It's when that stress becomes chronic where it really starts to become detrimental to your health. Like if you're always stressed from work, your relationship, maybe you're having financial problems, or all of the above. Because chronic stress leads to chronic inflammation, which then leads to systemic inflammation, which opens up Pandora's box to all sorts of disease, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Those are some of the biggest killers on the planet. Last but not the least, make sure you're getting adequate and quality sleep. There's a reason why we evolved to sleep for a third of our lives. That's when the important rest and repair function happens in your body. If you don't get adequate and quality sleep, that's when things start to go sideways real fast. You could have pre-diabetic symptoms, for example, from just a few nights of bad sleep. My point here is you're not gonna find a hard time finding studies that connects lack of sleep to poor health. You need to sleep in order to be a healthy and happy human being. In fact, prolonged sleep deprivation is an especially insidious form of torture, because it attacks the deep biological functions at the core of a person's mental and physical health. So why would you willingly torture yourself by not getting enough sleep? Just do it. I've literally never met a person who complained about getting a good night's sleep. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's gonna be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. First, a high five.